Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey, welcome back to Duty-Free Bible Study here on Daily Dose Radio. Today we're looking at verse 2, at least the first part of verse 2. And let me read that for you today. This is of Psalm 131. Sorry about that. We're in Psalm 131 all this week. And we began yesterday and on Monday with verse 1. So today we're looking at the first half of verse 2, which I translate, "Rather I have composed and stilled my soul." We have some difficult Hebrew right here at the very beginning of this second verse. And it's precarious, it's difficult. No one's really sure exactly how to translate it. So you're going to look at the first word of this second verse, and probably every translation is going to have something different here. What we have is a hypothetical particle, if, compounded with a negative particle, no. So those two compounded together produce something different. Some of the other translations are going to have something like surely or but. I've translated this rather. I think for me, I like the adversative better than anything else here. Some translations absolutely ignore it. They don't even acknowledge that it exists, this particular compounded particle. I'm trying to be consistent here, and I'm just going to say rather. And I think it goes nicely with the flow of these verses, because he's saying, my heart is not, and then he makes this list, exalted, my eyes are not lifted up, I'm not running after great things, or things too wonderful for me, rather, or but. So we have the adversative right there at the beginning. Either one of those I think works well. I have composed and stilled my soul. So we have one thing in verse 1, and now we have something different in verse 2. So instead of trying to advance myself, I've told the Lord I'm not doing that. I'm not exalting or lifting up or running after things that are too wonderful for me. No, what I'm doing is this. Here's the other side of it. I'm composing and stilling my soul, which is something I think that sometimes in American Christianity, we have lost the impulse to be still. Oh, we quote the verse, be still and know that I am the Lord, but we don't do it very often. And it's time for the church to take a fresh look at being still, composing ourselves. Because remember what Weiser said? He said humility is the prerequisite of genuine trust. Boy, that is so true. Let's humble ourselves and just be quiet. Let's humble ourselves and compose our soul so that we can hear clearly what the Lord has to say. No more talking. Just stop talking. Stop making plans. Stop running after things, trying to build bigger and better kingdoms and empires that we say we're doing for Christ, but really we're doing it for ourselves. Let's dispense with all that just for a moment. Just for a moment. Let's just try this now. We're going to try being still, being quiet, contemplative. Let's just do that now. And let's listen for the Spirit's voice. Let's not talk, but let's listen. Let's be quiet, and let's let genuine trust take over so that we're at peace. We allow the Lord to do or not to do. We allow the Lord to speak or not to speak. We don't need to fill the gap. Let's let Him fill the gap if He so desires. Let's just be still and listen. Be still and learn. Be still and trust. And tomorrow, the second half of the verse, he gives us a similitude or metaphor, like a weaned child, satisfied on its mother. That weaned child could be us. Join me tomorrow as we look at that metaphor on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.